welcome to the Africa Policy Journal interview series. My name is Winston Michalak. I'm a senior at Harvard College studying electrical engineering, and I'm one of the interview editors for the Africa Policy Journal. It is my pleasure to welcome you all today to this interview. We have a very special guest today, Quadri Oguntade. He's the founder of Novustack. He's a student here at the Kennedy School, and we're very excited to have him. Quadri, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, to begin, I was wondering if you could just speak a little bit about yourself, provide a bit of introduction to our viewers before we get started.
Absolutely. So Quadri Oguntade is my name again, originally from Nigeria. I'm a current Harvard Kennedy School of Government student studying MPA, so Masters in Public Administration. I also did an MBA program at MIT Sloan, and before then I was a technology consultant at Deloitte and also studied engineering. Very passionate about Africa and development in Africa, so really excited to be here with you guys, and would love to hear more about some of the questions you have for me.
Okay, great. So to start, I guess a lot of the work that you've done is centered around Novustack. Would you be able to speak a little bit about what Novustack is and what it entails?
Absolutely. So I will start with, first of all, understanding what kind of problem we are solving, and then the approach that Novustack is taking. So if you think about Africa right now, and specifically Nigeria, using that as an example. So Nigeria has about 200 million population. And out of that 200 million, 60% of that population is youths, people who are in the youth age. So you're thinking about people from 18 years old to 25 years old. And if you look at unemployment among those youths, it's about 35%. So that's a lot of youths who are unemployed. On the other side, you have a lot of startups and technology company that are really doing amazing things in Africa, in Nigeria. So as of last year, about $1.7 billion was raised by just African tech startup founders alone, right? However, when you ask this founder that what is the one issue that they face to scale, they always talk about talent, skilled talent, find the skilled talent. So you do have a lot of youths that are unemployed, and you have a lot of companies who are raising a lot of money, but there's this gap where how do you really get talented skills to actually help them scale? So that's the problem that we saw in Novustack, and we said, we really need to fix this, right? Because to be able to increase prosperity in Africa, in Nigeria, you really need to solve talent issue, right? And what we do at Novustack is to really identify top talents, train them on skill set that are marketable, and then match them with entrepreneurs who are building to be able to up the innovation ecosystem across Africa.
I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what inspired you, motivated you to get into this work. Obviously, it's very important, but is there anything in particular that made you interested in this work?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, my motivation comes from, I would say, being Nigerian, for example. So I grew up in Nigeria, saw kind of the situation there. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of talent in Nigeria, a lot of youths that are very well talented, but they don't have access to the opportunity, right? I think that's one of the things that I saw. And within the country also, and African continent also, we underinvest in talent in our youths. If you look at a lot of the top countries that are competitive today, so you think about United States, you think about Japan, you think about Singapore, they do invest a lot in talent in their youths, right? So for me, my passion is to really help create that ecosystem and that space where we could invest in our talent, invest in our youths, be able to give them the opportunity to achieve their dream. So that's the mission for Novustack, and that's what keeps me going.
We were talking about, you mentioned foreign actors like the United States and Japan. I'm wondering if foreign actors...
Yeah, I think it was foreign actors that was a Y Combinator.
Oh, and Y Combinator, yes. Yeah. Do those foreign institutions, foreign countries, foreign players play a role in the work that you're doing, the work that Novustack is doing? What is expected of them?
I think they play a role. I think there's a difference between what role they are playing right now and what role they should be playing, right, to really bring about the right type of opportunities for African talent or just opportunity in general for the continent. I think right now, a lot of foreign actors, and I can in a way segment them. So if I think about a foreign actor could be an organization trying to hire talent in Africa, in Nigeria, for example. A lot of times what they do is to pick and choose, right? They can pick a talent up on a freelancer website like Upwork and then say, do a small short-term engagement for me. A lot of them don't really actively invest in the talent space in Africa, right? So for me, I think that needs to improve, right? Like, if you're an organization why not just really heavily invest? When you know that there's big talent here, there's a lot of untapped talent in the space, why not just actively invest? And a lot of that is done in India, for example, where you have a lot of organizations taking their corporation or the headquarters there and actually investing in not just like, type of work like just like outsourcing or like call center, but technical work. And I think we really need that also in Africa. So that's one segment. I think the role of investors, right? So I mentioned that, Nigeria, for example, and across Africa, like $1.7 billion was raised, right, last year, right, as VC money going into Africa, right? I think that's very critical. And I think, the role of YC, a lot of founders in Africa try to go into YC. I think that's a very good thing, and I really still encourage that type of trend, because what we really need in Africa is that, being able to transfer know-how to Africa, right? So a lot of people who have the expertise here, who have the skill set, can also transfer know-how. So the way we approach problem solving in Africa, the way we approach how we deliver solution to the world changes, because we have investors that have this whole global mindset that can actually also inspire our founders, right? So, and I think I continue to encourage that. So I think different players have different role. I think the founders and the people just taking talents, I think they can do more in terms of really actively investing. I think our investors, I like what they do in terms of really bringing, the continent and the founders to kind of the global stage, and I think they should continue to do that.
And it's just like the point you were making before about why it's important, why it's useful that Africa doesn't have a specific organization like Y Combinator for bringing in.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Again, what we've seen, like if you look at China, for example, or even Israel, right? What we've seen is that we really want to be competitive globally. We don't want to just silo ourselves that we are building and we are solving for Africa problem, right? To really be competitive globally, you need that kind of, open the way we solve problem, and let's solve for the world. Let's sell to the world, and I think that's what will bring prosperity, and even increase the way the way we think about innovation in Africa.
I want to get to the Innovate for Africa Fellowship. I'm wondering if you could just talk a little bit about what the fellowship is, what it entails, and what it allows the opportunity for people to pursue.
Yeah, absolutely.
What it offers.
Yeah. So I think we've touched upon that a little bit earlier, right? In terms of how do you solve the gap where you have a lot of people that are unemployed, they might not have the right skill set to contribute to the innovation ecosystem in Africa, or help contribute to entrepreneurs that are trying to scale. So what Innovate for Africa does is to really bridge that gap, right? And what we do is that we identify top talents, those who have the promise, they have the grit, they have the motivation to actually be entrepreneurs or innovators. We take them through this very rigorous training where we provide them hard skills, so product management, data analytics, digital marketing. We provide them soft skills. They work with an actual client. They do hackathon, they do design thinking. So we provide them a lot of soft skills to improve their communication, to improve how they actually will think critically. And then we do the matching, where for 1 year we match you with an existing entrepreneurs who's actually building. And for us, kind of the theory of change for us is, can we actually bring someone that might not have been in this entrepreneurial ecosystem? They are very passionate and they want to aspire to be an entrepreneur in the future. Match them with someone who is already building. And then they can learn from that person, right, over that 12-month period. And over time, they can gain the confidence to say, you know what, now I have the right exposure, the right experience for me to actually go do my own thing and build my own startup.
What have other institutions done in this area? What sets Novustack and this Innovate for Africa Fellowship apart from what other people are doing in the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Nigeria or across Africa, there's a lot of companies that do a lot of technical skill training, right? So you do have a lot that really focus on software engineering, right? There's a direct need of software engineers on the continent, but also across the world, right? So a lot of companies focus on that, just add skill software training. We differentiate ourselves because our goal is not to just train you to be a developer. We really train you to be an innovator, to be an entrepreneur, to actually have an entrepreneurial mindset. So the way we train you on art skills. I mentioned about the product management, data analytics, digital marketing, a little bit of software engineering. But we also complement that or supplement that with soft skills around, design thinking, critical thinking, a consultancy project where you are actually working with an actual company, startup, and you are actually helping them to solve their problem. We also provide hackathon for you to really brainstorm and work with someone and really solve a problem. And I think for us, that kind of well-rounded training provides and gives you the skill set to have that entrepreneurial mindset than just like focusing on technical skill set. One of the things that we've actually seen also over time is that some of these talents that work, do like the software training, do come to our program after they've done the software training, come to our program to learn the other parts of like soft skills and other design thinking, is to really make them well-rounded.
What is the most challenging part of the work that you're doing?
I think the biggest challenge is infrastructure is still a big challenge. So if you think about the way we do our thing is that you could be in Nigeria and be able to deliver value anywhere, right? To be able to do that, you need reliable internet connectivity, right? And so sometimes like internet connectivity could be an issue, right? It could be the region where you are in, so we still face a lot of that challenge. I think the other thing also, this is more specific to Nigeria, like because of the policy around payments, cross-border payments, it's also very still difficult for companies to be able to make payments sometimes to the talent. I think policy around also governments really supporting entrepreneurs, right? A lot of times companies focus on the kind of the supply side where they might offer some training or have this program where they offer some training for talents, like in Nigeria, for example. But they don't focus on the demand side where organization and entrepreneurs build, and how can we actually create policy to support them, right? So I think really thinking about how you create policy that you're not just like trying to like create a training program, but that training program and where you create that talent, how do you then really move them across where they can actually be more productive, or how you can actually support an entrepreneur by maybe giving them access to capital, creating the right policy environment for them to be able to scale or get access to talent, or just creating the right environment to encourage more talent to come to the ecosystem. I think in terms of the opportunity, there's tons of opportunity, right? A lot of untapped opportunity among the youth I mentioned. These youths are very adaptable. They have growth mindset and grit. They really want to do amazing things. And also it's cheap, right, to really get talent on the continent. So I think those are some of the opportunity. But there's a lot of untapped opportunity that for anyone who wants to really invest.
What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs in this area? I think there are a lot of viewers for the Africa Policy Journal and people around the world who are interested in getting into entrepreneurship. What would you suggest they do in order to be successful?
Yeah, I think you really need to focus on your why. So why are you doing it in the first place? I think it's very important to identify the reason or the passion, because it's not an easy journey. I would say it's a very tough journey, but your why will always push you. For me, my why is that I'm really passionate about investing in people, investing in talent. So even when I'm having not so great days, I think that keeps pushing me, because the story, I can tell you some of this as a story, right? So we've had a lot of fellows that we've placed with US companies. We actually placed one of our fellows with a company in the US who is in the green tech space. So they actually, create equipment for the, for clean energy and stuff. And he did digital marketing for this company. And after like a while, one of the things that the fellow came back to tell me was that, Quadri, I'm really, really amazed by what Innovate for Africa has actually given me. Like, it has really given me the confidence. Like, right now, I'm actually delivering value for this US company, and not in a million time do I really think I can actually create this kind of value, right? And like, this has really given me the confidence that I feel like now I think I can go conquer the world. I can go build my own organization. So that's just one. Like, I've had a series of people just email me, or even if you go on LinkedIn, you can go on LinkedIn and see a lot of our comments from fellows and from some of these startups that we train, right? It's really, really giving people the opportunity and really, giving them the confidence that they can do it. They can, deliver value, no matter where they are. Like, boundaries and like, country boundaries is not a barrier in this case. And I think, so for me, I think for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, I think you have to understand your why. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. I think you have to be persistent, right? It's never going to be a one-day success. It has to be something you do consistently over time, right? And I think then, like, the little impact you make will be the source of encouragement and sort of like it's what will motivate you to continue doing what you're doing. I think the last thing I would say is that don't build in silos, right? I think it's very key to identify partners and work with people. Think more of an ecosystem. The way you think about it should be in kind of like, how do you really plug it into the ecosystem? How do you identify partners that can support you instead of you trying to work in silos, because you can never make it alone. It takes a village.
Quadri, you're a very busy man. I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to ask one last question. I'm wondering if you could say a little bit about where Novustack is headed next and where you're headed next.
Absolutely. I'm actually excited about this. I've been expecting that question. I'm really excited about this because one of the area that we've seen is this whole decentralization. I mentioned about Web3 and blockchain. So one of the programs that we are actually doing right now, which is in the beta stages, how do you take a lot of the tech talent or engineers on the continent and transition them from Web 2 to Web 3 to blockchain, right? And that's one thing that we are building on right now. I think there's tons of opportunity in this space, a lot of opportunity for talent, a lot of opportunity for organizations across the world that really want to scale in this space. And for us, we really want to be a leader in that space. So so very soon you're gonna see a lot of things going on with Novustack, operating in the blockchain space, Web3 space, and really being a leader in that space.
Quadri, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And thank you all so much for tuning into this interview.